Hey, welcome to the live sound room at the Conservatory Recording Arts and Sciences. I'm Keith Morris, one of the instructors here. I have been here for 22 years, educating probably more than 10,000 students in the last 22 years. We started in a little classroom with one little PA. We've now built it up to this 6,000 square foot live sound room with a 12 M32R consoles, all fed off from Dante Network. So we've upped our game quite a bit when it comes to the live sound world. So welcome. We are going to go ahead and do some shots on tutorials on the M32R, all the hardware, how to use it, based upon you opening the box, pulling the console out, and wanting to use it. So these are going to be definitely basic tutorials. So welcome. All right, so let's get going here. First of all, I have a couple of different surfaces up here, M32, the M32R, the X32, and then the rack mount CX32, which you obviously have to have I/O for and run from a computer. But the cool item is all of the software is exactly the same. It doesn't matter the control surface you're using at that point. So my focus is going to be on the M32R. It is laid out a little bit different than the M32. So that'll be my focus today, is to get you up and running. You just took this thing out of the box brand new and you want to use it, and that'll be my focus, is a very basic level of operation of the M32. Okay? So what we need to cover are the physical inputs and outputs of the console. Okay? So on the back of the console on an M32R, it is exactly half of the M32, okay? So there are 16 XLR inputs on the back of the console. These are called local inputs. They can accept mic or line level signal. If we have the red light on a channel here, that means that phantom power is applied to that particular channel, all right? So again, these are 16 local analog inputs, line or mic level, okay? Right next to there is 6 TRS inputs and outputs. These are line level. They are not auxiliary sends. They are actually aux in and outputs physical to the console that can be addressed to any input fader or addressed from any output fader, okay? The pair of RCA jacks, they share the same connection as 5 and 6 TRS. All right, so it's the same thing, it's just an unbalanced connector, okay? Different level. Next to that will be the monitor out, depending on what you're doing, whether you're going to use that or not. Some churches, you're in a little sound booth and you can't hear anything, so you want to set up some control room monitors in there, okay? Talkback mic input is right next to that, okay? Right below that are the XLR outputs. These are all analog line level outputs right here. All the bus outputs can be assigned from any output on the console, just like anything else. All right. So that is our analog input and output. Okay. So again, just a little review. 16 XLR analog mic or line level inputs, 6 TRS line level inputs. The 2 RCA 5 and 6 share with the TRS 5-6 outputs. Monitor output, if you need a pair of control room monitors or something with you. And then your talkback mic input. And then we also have your XLR output analog on the console line level outputs. And those are all called bus out, okay? Next, we need to move down to some digital stuff down here on the bottom. We have 2 AES ports. We have AES-A and AES-B, that it's AES-50. So there are 48 channels bidirectional on both of those jacks. So we have 48 by 48, 48 in, 48 out. This is AES-A, this is AES-B, and it is AES-50, and there are 48 channels available, okay? The Ultranet port is used to connect to a P16 little mixer right here. We're going to cover that in our little mixing scenario that we'll do a little bit later today, once we get inputs and outputs to the console. So we just connect the Ultranet with a Cat5 to the P16 little router, because power comes from the P16 router, okay? Next to that is MIDI. We can use MIDI for a few different items. We could go ahead and use a Huey controller or something like that for DAW control, and you could hook that up to the USB ports, or sorry, the MIDI ports. Next jack is the Ethernet jack that will connect with a Cat5 cable to my laptop, and that's where I'll show you through the software. We'll go through that connection again coming up here in a little bit. And that Ethernet jack is just so you could control the board remotely from an iPad, or I'm just going to connect a laptop to it directly, okay? The next are the cards, okay? So there are 6 different cards we can buy depending on what digital protocol we need to use, okay? So I'm going to go through the cards next. There are 6 different cards. This one happens to be the live card, which again I'll cover here in about 2 seconds. 6 different cards. And we'll start with MADI, one of the most popular protocols out there. We could do fiber or we could do coax, all right? So what to understand about the expansion cards is they are 32 by 32. MADI could do 64 by 64. So you have to pick which of the 32 you want to use, but on the 32 in and out card, okay? Same thing will go with Dante. Dante is how we have this room connected. Our 12 M32Rs are all connected on one network together. And we're using Dante to feed all the consoles at the same time. Pretty awesome. And again, Dante can do many channels, and we have to pick the 32 that we need for our inputs and outputs, okay? We have ADAT light pipe. That to me is an older protocol, but it's still out there. In fact, I'm using a device right now for what we're doing here that actually has the ADAT on it, okay? The DN32 USB, this is the, I don't like to call it the old card, but it was the card that originally came with the M32s and the Behringer X32. It's simply just a USB to your laptop to be able to get into a DAW. They are ASIO drivers, so any DAW that will accept that as an input, that port will work 32, again, by 32, all right? Playback or record. Wave Sound Grid. With this card, we can actually go ahead and get a Wave server and go ahead and run Wave's plugins on this thing. If we want to, the latency is super low in that card, in which allows us to go ahead and run, again, Waves plugins on the console if we want to, on SoundGrid, okay? And then this is the newer card that will come with the M32 Live, and it will have this live card. The cool thing about it, the USB is exactly the same, 32 by 32, but there are 2 memory slots on the console itself, and you can record directly from the console inputs to multi-track on the board itself without using a DAW control. So the cards are very handy, and again, you could just buy whatever card you need to get whatever you're doing working, right? So again, we're using Dante in here. I've used the Wave Sound Grid with my M32 with Waves plugins on it. So I've used just about all the different cards, okay? All right then. And we'll go ahead and cover an input coming up next, all right? Thank you.